Now on the CTV News at 5.
We will bring in tougher sentences for violent and repeat offenders and invest in thousands of frontline officers.
The Prime Minister announces new measures meant to get tough on crime. Plus, a tentative deal for local Access-A-Ride drivers. And
on the day, spread your wings.
A Lethbridge musician is named Alberta's new artist in residence and arts ambassador.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. A promise today from Ottawa to get tougher on crime. After years of pressure from the provinces and police, the Prime Minister says a new bill to be tabled next week will crack down on violent and repeat offenders through strong reforms on sentencing and bail. And there is also a pledge to hire more police. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, the announcement is significant both from a policy perspective and politically.
The federal government says a crackdown on repeat violent offenders is coming.
It will no longer be up to the Crown to prove why someone should stay behind bars. It will be up to the accused to prove to the court why they can be trusted to be released.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says next week the Liberals will introduce long-awaited bail reform legislation to keep those accused of serious crimes out of the community. The new bill will also amend the criminal code to allow consecutive sentencing for those convicted of multiple crimes, end conditional sentences for a series of sexual offenses, and impose tougher penalties for organized retail thefts. These amendments are aimed at addressing headline-making crimes, including the surge in some cities of brazen smash-and-grab robberies. But they're getting mixed reviews from criminal defense lawyers.
And I think it's a measured approach. But at the end of the day, they just send a message because it don't really change that much, I have to say. But it sends the message that there is public concern.
I think it may work to curb that type of behavior, but I also think it is a ton of lip service.
These measures come after concerted pressure from premiers, police forces, and opposition parties.
And yet Mark Carney has done absolutely nothing to reverse the Liberal laws that caused this chaos and carnage.
Today, Carney also announced a nearly $2 billion funding boost for the RCMP. Coming in the next budget, the money will go towards hiring 1,000 new officers, increasing the cadet recruitment allowance, and dedicating more personnel to probing financial crimes.
The devil is in the details. We're going to take a look at what comes out next week, but we're happy to see that we were listened to and some of the things we advocated for were included.
Carney is set to continue his pre-budget pre-positioning tomorrow. The Prime Minister has plans to make what he called an important announcement on border security. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Lethbridge police have charged 2 people in an animal cruelty investigation. September 4th, Community Animal Services were called to a home on the 600 block of 9th Street South after receiving reports of animals being in distress. Lethbridge officers seized 4 puppies, 3 adult dogs, 4 cats, a lizard, a mouse, and fish. It's alleged the animals were not being properly cared for and conditions in the home were unfit for living. A closure order was issued and tenants forced to leave. 22-year-old Aaron Burke and 23-year-old Savannah McClung, both from Coaldale, are facing charges of causing unnecessary suffering to an animal. Both are released with conditions not to possess or care for any animals. They are scheduled to appear in court November the 18th. BC's largest coal operator has been slapped with fines over water contamination in the Elk Valley. Elk Valley Resources, formerly known as Teck, has been fined $3.6 million for delaying construction of 3 water facilities. The company failed to meet mandated deadlines to have the facilities operational. The company also breached water quality limits 171 times. The penalties stem from operations between 2018 and 2023. Well, let's check in with Danielle Savoni about the forecast. And Danielle, temperatures are going to cool down, but still be in the double digits.
Yes, so today, the warmest day for most communities of the next 10 days at least. So I hope you enjoyed it. 17 degrees right now in Lethbridge, and yes, in much of the south, it's all sunshine. It's also 17 in Milk River, 15 in Medicine Hat and Brooks, as well as in Pincher Creek. The game's going to change for tomorrow. We have a nice little cold front that's going to swipe through. That'll spark up some showers and bring in a cooler air mass, which you will notice. I'll have those details just ahead, Jackie.
Accessoride bus drivers may not be hitting the picket line. The workers' union announcing a tentative deal has been reached. ATU Local 987, which represents the drivers, announced a tentative deal earlier today. The union says significant progress was made after a rally and practice picket outside City Hall Tuesday evening. The deal will be sent to members who will vote on Sunday. No details on the tentative agreement were made public. Alberta teachers and the provincial government continue to butt heads over an extra $2 billion in the ATA's latest counterproposal. Danielle Smith says the current funding should allow for class sizes of 21 students and questions where all the money is going to. She does, however, seem to be open to a different type of classroom cap.
Maybe we need to have a cap on how much complexity there is. Maybe that's the issue, is that we have to add more education assistance until you get to a point where you say, you know what, this is just too many complex needs kids for one teacher.
Alberta is one of only 2 provinces that does not cap classroom sizes. Teachers have been on strike now for a week and a half as the bargaining teams for both sides negotiate. Classrooms have been empty since October the 6th, with 700,000 students impacted. The province says the ATA and its members need to come to a clear, concrete solution that is, quote, rooted in reality. The head of the ATA says the reality is classrooms are crumbling and the extra money will help address wages, classroom sizes, and classroom complexities.
It's not fair to the people who are working day in and day out in classrooms, struggling to meet the needs of everybody and watching our students fall through the cracks. We can't keep kicking this down the road.
No new date for bargaining has been set yet. If no deal is reached, the province is considering back-to-work legislation, but that won't happen until October 27th at the earliest. The Health Sciences Association of Alberta says it is ready to negotiate a new deal with AHS, but meetings are getting delayed. HSAA represents nearly 30,000 healthcare workers across more than 200 disciplines, including paramedics, pharmacists, and mental health counselors. Last month, members rejected a proposal from AHS and are waiting to get back to bargaining. The union's vice president says strike action is still on the table.
We are prepared. But honestly, I think we have to look at, we're healthcare professionals. We don't want to have to go on strike. We care about caring for our patients. That's why we go into these professions.
HSAA says the next meeting has been pushed to November because someone from AHS is on vacation. We have asked the province about the reason for the delay and have not yet heard back. Alberta's winter rules for heat and electricity bills are now in effect. That means from today until April 15th, anyone behind on their electricity bill cannot have it disconnected. Starting November 15th, no one can have their natural gas disconnected. The province says this enables people to access the energy they need to provide for their families when the weather is coldest. The Alberta government has partnered with the nonprofit Trellis Society to support people who are struggling. Lethbridge musician John Wart Hannon is taking on a new gig. He is Alberta's newest artist in residence and arts ambassador.
Me and your mama are dying to know.
John is a Juno nominee and 3-time Canadian Folk Music Award winner. For more than 25 years, his music has celebrated the spirit of everyday Albertans on stages around the world. During John's 1-year term, he will engage with communities and create a project that showcases the power of the arts in Alberta. John believes every Albertan carries a unique story, and when we listen to one another, we connect and build stronger communities. He says many of his songs have been influenced by southern Alberta and its landscapes.
For any artist, regardless of whether they're a painter or a songwriter, that you cannot help but be influenced by what you're seeing, once you step outside the doors.
John's residency project, Everyone Has a Story, will connect unique voices and put Alberta's talent on center stage with 10 songwriting workshops in rural, remote, and inner-city communities across the province. Each workshop will conclude with a public listening session and performance highlighting the stories and songs that were created during that session. Special Olympians in Lethbridge will soon receive new financial support. Special Olympics Lethbridge is hosting the first of what it hopes will become an annual fundraising gala. The gala will be hosted at the German-Canadian Club tomorrow night. It features a 5-course meal, live entertainment, 50-50 draw, and silent auction. The proceeds will be used to help cover sports fees for Special Olympians in Lethbridge. With many of the athletes living on a fixed income, the support will go a long way.
Yeah, it just would help them because they are all on a tight budget. They get AISH, and so a lot of them are paying like their rent and everything. So adding fees is a little bit for them. So it takes them sometimes a bit to pay all the fees. So that's why we want to help them out and cover their fees for a year.
Tickets are still available. They are $75 each or $550 for a table of 8. Claresholm residents will have a new way to enjoy the outdoors this winter. An outdoor rink has been installed at Amundsen Park. The project was done in collaboration with the town of Claresholm and Public Works. The Claresholm Library is also launching a lending skate program where residents can borrow a pair of skates with a library card. The rink is expected to be open through December and January. Well, it's a sure sign the holidays aren't that far off. The schedule is now out for the CPKC holiday train. The train will stop in Blackie, Vulcan, and Lethbridge on December 13th with the Bare Naked Ladies playing. They'll also play for stops in Sparwood, Fernie, and Cranbrook on the 14th. December 21st, the holiday train will be in Medicine Hat, Tilly, and Brooks. CPKC says the route changes every year to accommodate as many locations as possible. People who are encouraged to go make a donation to the local food bank. The CPKC holiday train has raised more than $26 million since its start in 1999. Right after this break, Danielle is back with the 5-day forecast. Plus, we'll tell you about new federal funding to help youth mental health.
All right, here's your Skywatch weather camera. What a stunning day. Temperatures well above normal into the high teens. As we talked about, it's a different day for tomorrow. More cloud cover, chance of showers. Wet snow for higher elevations, not a lot, but some. And we're looking at cooler temperatures, relatively cooler temperatures, dipping us to about normal for this time of year as we head into the weekend and for tomorrow. 17 degrees was the high in Calgary today, 18 for Edmonton, 10 for Regina. So Regina finally got back into the double digits. And it's been in those mid-teens or at least double digits for most communities, except for Quebec City, St. John's. Almost in the doubles. Okay, look at this. 19 in Lethbridge, 18 in Drumheller, Milk River. So in those higher teens, nearly 20 for Lethbridge, high teens as well for Calgary. So overall, well above normal. The winds have been pretty calm in most communities too. So gusts have not registered in any of these communities. But yes, in Pincher Creek, Rosnes Pass, it was gusty. 65 kilometers per hour is the max wind gust. We're all going to pick up to 65 kilometers per hour, or at least 50-60 tomorrow in the far south as we get a cold front swiping through for tomorrow. So windy, mainly cloudy. This is wave number 1, warm front. This is going to push in some cloud cover. Most of that moisture should stay up in central Alberta and not affect the far south. But then we have that second wave, the cold front, and that's going to lead this change and usher in cooler air. The jet stream in the darker green here will shift stateside. That's pretty low, and that will open us up to a cooler air mass. It won't be exceptionally cold, but it will be certainly, you'll notice a difference from today. It won't be in the high teens. Okay, here's what we're looking at through this evening. Again, that moisture should stay up into central Alberta, and we're just looking at the cloud cover. The wind's picking up, getting a little breezy in most communities for the evening and hours. And then by the time we get into tomorrow, the cold front swipes through, sparking up some showers near Calgary, Brooks in the morning hours, and then in the afternoon shifts to the far south, sparking up isolated showers as well. Even the potential for some thunderstorm activity along Highway 2, east of Highway 2, even to the east of QE2. Lethbridge could see some thunderstorm activity as well, and a couple snowflakes for the high elevations. And then it clears out for the weekend, but we'll probably hold on to some cooler air into Saturday. So East Kootenay 0 tonight, Tomorrow, cloud cover increasing, 30% chance of showers. The winds will pick up 50-kilometer-per-hour gusts out of the west, getting us up to a high of 10. Crow's Nest past 2 overnight. Gusty for the next couple of hours, around 60 kilometers per hour, and then the gusts will pick up again tomorrow to 60. We are looking at a decent chance of some isolated showers. Check out your daytime high, just 8, so that's certainly a difference. Medicine Hat just high of 9 tomorrow. So yes, a massive difference in temperature in just one day. You want to make sure you're prepared for that. Gusts, a little gusty tomorrow, 40 kilometers per hour. And again, we have the chance of isolated showers in Medicine Hat in the afternoon. And for Lethbridge, chance of showers in the afternoon. Risk of a thunderstorm in the afternoon, gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour as well, and just a high of 10. 10 as well for Saturday. The clouds will start to move out. Bright for Sunday and a high of 14.
Health ministers from across the country are in Calgary for a special meeting, and a funding announcement this morning will benefit an Alberta nonprofit. Over the next 4 years, Kickstand will get $10 million in federal funding. The organization is dedicated to youth mental health and well-being through in-person and online counseling. Kickstand also offers peer support and employment services. Its programs are free, have no wait lists, and don't require a referral. The funding will allow Kickstand to eventually open 5 more centers across Alberta.
7 out of the 8 centers that we have are actually in rural communities that have populations under 100,000. We find that services in rural areas are really lacking, and they're difficult for young people to be able to get to. So we have focused a lot on bringing together resources within those communities so that a young person just has one place to go.
The locations for the 5 centers have not yet been finalized, and they're not expected to open until 2029. Meantime, health ministers will be discussing family doctor shortages, creating a cross-Canada medical license, and new funding agreements. The Toronto Blue Jays can tie the American League Championship Series tonight after a dominant win over Seattle. We have sports coming up next. The Lethbridge Hurricanes hosted the Spokane Chiefs last night at the visitlethbridge.com arena. The Canes were still looking to get their first home win of the season. After trailing 1-0 most of the game, Luke Cousins scored early in the first to tie things up. Midway through the period, though, Brody Gillespie scored his first of the year to give Spokane back the lead. Later, with less than a minute to go and the goalie pulled, Shane Smith would find the back of the net to tie it up late. Overtime solved nothing, so this game needed a shootout. And Spokane's Mathis Preston was the only player to score, giving the Chiefs a 3-2 win. Now, the team may be on a skid, but one Hurricane recently got some good news. Goaltender Leif Outen has been picked to represent Team Canada Red at the U17 World Hockey Challenge. This is Outen's first season in the WHL after spending last year at the Edge School in Calgary. He is the only Canadian goalie from the WHL competing in the World Challenge. The eyes of hockey scouts have been fixed on the BCHL's showcase games. Bandits players hope to make a good impression in their last game of the showcase, and the Bandits did just that with a 6-2 win over the Prince George Spruce Kings. Jack Good led the way with 3 points in the dominating win. Goalie Zach Zahara managed to stop 24 of 26 shots. This is only the second time this season the Bandits have won back-to-back games since their first 2 games of the season. Cranbrook Bucks, meanwhile, will leave the showcase on a sour note after leading 2-1 midway through the second. The Bucks surrendered 4 unanswered goals, and that led to a 5-2 loss to the Alberni Valley Bulldogs. And that also extends Cranbrook's losing streak to 3. The Toronto Blue Jays are back in the American League Championship Series.
Since 2010. Vlad Jr. sends a high drive to deep center field. Rodriguez to the wall, it's gone. First pitch of the 5th. Vlad Jr. launches a solo shot.
That home run from Vladdy was one of 5 hit by the Jays Wednesday night as they crushed the Mariners 13-4 in Game 3. He was also a triple shy of hitting for the cycle, getting 4 hits after going 0 for 7 to start the series. The Jays went down 2-0 in the first after starting pitcher Shane Bieber gave up a home run to Julio Rodriguez, but Bieber settled in after that and the Bats went to work. Game 4, that goes tonight at 6:30. One young football player's big-time moment is going viral after he was handed the ball on the very last play of the game in a stunning display of sportsmanship. As NBC's Steve Patterson learned, it was all the hard work leading up to that play that gave the whole team a very valuable lesson.
On the very last play of the game, 8-year-old Big John Lyles was handed his big moment. There he is, number 52. He ran with it all the way, 85 yards. The players on both teams, on the field and sidelines, running with him. The video going viral. But John had to work hard to get here.
When we first put pads on him, oh my good night, we had a meltdown.
John has autism, which can make some basic kid stuff really tough. So this year, John's Nana Sherry Jackson called a big audible, switching him from a specialized school right into the halls of Westside Elementary in Arkansas. And to give John structure, a spot on the football team. Her one rule, no special treatment.
We don't treat him any different. We may be a little softer on him, even though his Nana tells us not to.
For all this hard work, the whole team wanted to find a way to give back. So Coach drew up the very last play of the game.
As soon as he touched that touchdown, everybody went on the field and jumping and saying, John, John, John.
A small show of sportsmanship, giving way to something much bigger than football.
They all love him. He is living his best life.
Steve Patterson, NBC News.
Well, more than 100 dachshunds have raced for glory at the 3rd International Dachshund Competition. Races were just one part of the festival in Germany. The fastest dog completed the 40-meter track in just 4.4 seconds. The event also included some dog dancing demos ahead of the European Dog Dancing Championships coming to Hungary next month. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we show you how to rescue a raccoon. A wildlife removal company in Ontario came to this guy's aid when he needed a hand.
All right, buddy, hang on.
Yeah, that raccoon is stuck in the ceiling of a porch in a home in London, Ontario. The owner called Wildlife Control, and a worker used a rope to gently pull the raccoon out. It quickly jumped down the ladder and ran away unharmed. The video has been a hit online, getting more than 12 million views. A South African photographer earned top honors in his field after capturing an eerie photo of an animal so rare it took him 10 years to snap a picture of it. Take a look at this haunting image of a brown hyena standing in front of an abandoned building in a former diamond mining town in Namibia. The prize-winning pic beat out more than 60,000 entries to claim the 2025 Wildlife Photographer of the Year award. Other amazing photographers' photos included this longhorn beetle in central Italy posing in front of an abandoned logging machinery, and this picture of an orphaned giant anteater trailing after its caregiver at a rehab center. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.